Hello guys, Hikiyami Moriko desu, and welcome to another indie game, or kind of. This is a dress-up game, and I usually don't play dress-up games, but this sounds really interesting because it's made up in RPG Maker, and that sounds really interesting to me, so let's dress up. Okay, so do I click on the stuff? Eyes, yes. What kind of eyes are my eyes? Like these ones? I guess eyes. The mouth. I guess I have this kind of mouth. What is this, blush? I don't think I have blush, so I'm just gonna put a nose or something in me. And I guess this is similar to my hair. Well, this is a dress up. The game is called Sketchy Dress Up Game, and I'm not a girl, but I have long hair, so it's close enough, right? We have different shirts. Wow, this is all very revealing. This is really cute also. I have to mention this game is really cute. I know this gameplay is not gonna be like too long, but I don't care. I wanted to try this game because, again, a dress-up game in RPG Maker, it sounds amazing, right? I'm always surprised by what people can do in RPG Maker. Let's try the different shirts. This is more comfy, I guess, unless it's like a dress. This is too much. This is too extra. What is this? Oh, this is kind of spicy. I like it. And this one is like too much, right? Like this one is like for like a date or something. I guess I'm gonna keep this one. It's the most comfy, and I also can have back hair. I'm really interested in knowing how this game was made. I guess this will be close to my hair, maybe. Maybe this one. Or this one, I don't know. So yeah, I think that's it for the game. That's all the game has to offer. Yeah, well, I made a cute girl. I'm gonna use it for the thumbnail of this video. This was like a 2-minute video. I wasn't expecting much because let me read the itch.io page. It says a dress-up game made in RPG Maker in one afternoon, like one afternoon, to make all this. Making this will take me like weeks because I don't know how to make games. This is amazing, and actually it lists the plugins the developer used and the music. And it says, honestly, there aren't a lot of choices. I just wanted to see if it's possible to make a dress-up game in RPG Maker, and it is. Do you have any suggestions or more choices designs? Feel free to let me know in the comments. Feel free to also reach out on me on my social media. Okay, so if you guys want to like suggest things for this game, go to the itch.io page and comment there. Yeah, I don't think I can make this video much longer, but it's really cute. I understand like that. If you just wanted to see if something works, makes sense to not make a lot of like choices for the characters, but you can make like really cute characters with this thing. I always liked like character makers. Like it's funny to just dress up with things. You don't have to draw, you know. Drawing is really hard and you get frustrated when things don't go your way, but with these kind of games you can make like a cute character and feel satisfied without much effort. It's really nice. So I know it was a short game. If you guys want to try it and make your own character, the game will be down in the description with all the games I have played so far. Would be nice if you leave your suggestions to the developer too. Thank you, developer, for making the game. It was really fun. I know it was a short game. I don't mind. I like this kind of games. And I will see you guys in the next indie game. Hopefully like a longer indie game or stream. Goodbye.